You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
Do you need a car? Been shopping only to be turned down because of bad credit, low credit, no credit, bankruptcy, or divorce? Guess what? Today's your lucky day, because now you can buy a car, truck, or SUV, just about any vehicle. It's true. Bad credit doesn't matter. No credit doesn't matter. Bankruptcy or divorce, it just doesn't matter. As a matter of fact, your job is your ticket to your new vehicle. We're Auto Credit Express, and we've helped thousands of people just like you. Antonio H. told us, great company, got me connected, and the day I went in, I drove off in the car I wanted. 100% worth your time. Need a car? Get started now and drive off as early as today. Just text FINANCE, FINANCE, to 357-911 right now to get started. That's FINANCE, FINANCE, to 357-911. Auto financing the easy way. Text FINANCE to 357-911.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Everyone loves liberty. Our rights come from God, not the government. So why are you letting other people tell you what's best for your health care? Exercise your freedom with Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share is a community of people who voluntarily share one another's medical costs. Liberty Health Share is founded on the idea that most people truly want to help one another. Healthcare sharing allows members to do just that as a true community that supports one another in times of need. Liberty believes people should make decisions for themselves and their families. Members are able to take back the freedom to make their own decisions about their health care. Freedom from guilt or doubt about how your money is used. You have the freedom to direct your health care, not to be dictated to by bureaucrats. Stop letting others tell you what to do and join a community of like-minded people. Exercise your freedom. Join Liberty Health Share and take back the control of your health care while helping those around you. Call Liberty at 855-58-LIBERTY. Again, that's 855-58-LIBERTY for more information, or you can check them out at libertyhealthshare.org. Again, that's libertyhealthshare.org.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
At St. Jude, a family never sees a bill at all. It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Sometimes writers feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
We believe in the American way, and we built this country called the USA, and we fly our flag because we're proud and free, we're Americans. Red, white, and blue is our way of life. Never back down from a challenge or a fight. Nature provides, God gives the rights. We're Americans. We fish the waters and we hunt the lands. We forge the steel with our own two hands. With what we've got, we do the best we can. We're Americans.
This is Rio of Madison Rising, and you're listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
It's time now for the Conservative Curmudgeon Radio Show. Now, here's Grouchy.
Good evening. Yeah, keep it like it, Seymour. I love it. Anyway, great to be back with you. I hate when the sound effects get looped like that, Rick. I really do. Anyway, no, Seymour did not hold up that many panes of glass that quickly. You know, I really don't have him do that every week. Anyway, we got a lot to talk about tonight. But we get started. Everything else after tonight, no matter what you hear, of some kind. Who is power, or he's just getting power back and without internet, so I don't think we have reruns to queue for her, Rick. Is that right? Folks just go to Spreaker and pick their favorite episode and listen? Yeah, that's kind of what we were talking about before. Rick's probably finishing his dinner because that's what he said he was going to do after he got me started. Anyway, Fu is without internet, and Orty is going to spend some time out at the donkey farm this evening since he doesn't have a whole lot more else to do without Fu going on air with him. And there'll be no Justice POV tonight. That will resume tomorrow. Happy Yom Kippur. And Rick, I don't know what Rick's schedule is anymore. He's the busiest man in freaking show business. Also, programming reminder for next week. For next week, there will be no Grouch. There will be no Fu. Anything else I can't attest to as of yet, but that's because Mr. Producer Man, that would be Rowdy Rick, is doing some work with this upstart organization known as the Federalist Coalition. He's going to have some fun with them, so we're going to take a little extra time next week, and what that's going to allow me to do is finally, after, 2.5 years, we're going to update the music for the show. Yeah. So with that in mind, I only have one question for you. Are you ready? I know I am. Okay, so the big stink, the big stink going on right now. Everyone's buzzing about it. And no, I don't mean Bert and Ernie. And I know you were probably sitting there with bated breath waiting for that, but no, this is not Bert and Ernie. Kavanaugh. So we have a hearing scheduled for Monday. for Christine Blasey Ford to testify concerning the allegations that she has made against Judge Brett Kavanaugh. Now, today, her lawyer said that she is in no way ready to testify Monday. Now, Senator Grassley, Chuck Grassley, who's the head of the Judiciary Committee, is being far more accommodating than I ever would be in this situation. Dr. Ford has levied these allegations. Her story has already changed a couple of times since they've come out. She has her friend go live today showing support for her and also contradicting her account of the story, which of course can do nothing but hurt, not help. And then we're back to her attorney saying that she's not ready to testify. So here's what I would have done if I were Chuck Grassley, and then I'll tell you what Chuck's done. Okay? If I were Senator Grassley, my counter would have been, if we do not have a solid confirmation by noon Wednesday that she will be here Monday to testify, then Thursday we're going ahead with a vote for confirmation. That's how I would have played this. I would not have altered the schedule, or I would have made the accommodation, but I would not have canceled the vote until I had a strong confirmation that she was planning to be there to testify. All this is up in the air. Grassley has been more than accommodating, to the point where I think it almost looks like weakness, had it not been for the fire breathed into the letter he issued late this afternoon. It's far too long to read on the air, but you should go pull the letter. Basically, Grassley has turned this onto the Democrats for exactly what it is. And he says in the letter, I'll just give you a quick line, a quick paraphrasing. He mentioned that he understands Dr. Ford's reluctance with the leaks that have come out of the Democrat side of the committee, and that he encouraged the Democrats to fix their leaking problem and to hold the committee in the esteem that it needs to be held, which I thought was brilliant on Senator Grassley's part to take that opportunity to do that. But anyway, back to this. Judge Kavanaugh has said that he looks forward to a hearing where he can clear his name of this false allegation. He stands ready to testify if the Senate is ready to hear him, according to White House spokesman Raj Shah. Maine Republican Senator Susan Collins, one of the key swing votes on the nomination, said she wanted both Kavanaugh and Ford to testify under oath before the Judiciary Committee. Again, the vote was planned for Thursday. It has now been delayed. Senator Orrin Hatch also called for both to testify, saying he spoke to Kavanaugh by phone on Monday. He said, I want to have both individuals come before the Judiciary Committee and testify under oath. Same thing Collins said. She said there are still a lot of questions and we need to know what happened. Now, obviously, if Judge Kavanaugh has lied about what happened, that would be disqualifying to Collins. But she added that she had spoken to Kavanaugh on the phone and he had emphatically denied the allegations. Now, for Ford's part, she is demanding, now get this, that the FBI investigate before she even testifies. Well, Dr. Ford doesn't understand how the FBI works. And apparently a lot of people in Washington don't understand how the FBI works either. But first of all, this would not be a case that falls into their jurisdiction. Second of all, a background check is just that. It is a background check. Being that no charges were ever filed and no complaint was ever made, there's not even a record of this alleged incident ever having occurred, other than her 35-year repressed memory. Now, let's also take into account, should we all be held accountable for, okay, I'm not talking about serious crimes here, but should you be held accountable for all of your high school behavior? Should that dictate what you get to do in life, what you get to achieve, accomplish? I mean, again, I'm not defending Kavanaugh here. I'm just saying, if he's guilty, he's guilty. If he's innocent, he's innocent. I don't know how anything can be proven at this point. Again, there's no report of the incident. There was no complaint made. Again, rumors run wild in a school. Wow. Well, I can tell you some rumors that ran wild in my school, about me even. But no, we won't go there. That's completely unnecessary. Suffice it to say, if everything that I had attempted to do in business in my life had hinged on what I did as a 17-year-old in high school, I had news for you. I'd be digging a ditch somewhere or digging holes to put power poles in the ground. Yeah, I wouldn't be doing what I do now. I can promise you that. So President Trump said he's open to a delay in order to keep the process going and eventually confirm Kavanaugh. He said Judge Kavanaugh is one of the finest people I've ever known. He is an outstanding intellect and an outstanding judge, respected by everybody. Never had even a little blemish on his record. If it takes a little delay, it'll take a little delay. Trump's words. The statements allow for the possibility that Judiciary Committee would receive dueling testimony about the alleged incident decades ago, which could threaten Trump's attempt to install a conservative in place of the frequent swing vote Justice Anthony Kennedy, potentially altering the balance of the court for at least a generation. The committee's chairman, again, Senator Chuck Grassley from Iowa, said he wants to set up phone calls with Kavanaugh and Ford, but did not say he would postpone the vote. We already know that this vote's not going to happen Thursday. Anyone who comes forward, as Dr. Ford has, deserves to be heard, so I will continue working on a way to hear her out in an appropriate, precedented, and respectful manner, Grassley said. The committee's 10 Democratic members want to delay the planned vote and allow for an FBI investigation before the panel moves forward. Senate Republicans hold a 51-49 majority and cannot afford two or more Republicans voting against Kavanaugh's nomination unless they pick up votes from the Democrats. And if you haven't been paying attention to this, it's largely thought that this is going to go party line. So in a statement on Monday, Kavanaugh called the allegation by Ford completely false. I've never done anything like what the accuser describes to her or anyone, Kavanaugh said. Because this never happened, I have no idea who was making this allegation until she identified herself yesterday. I'm willing to talk to the Senate Judiciary Committee in any way the committee deems appropriate to refute this false allegation from 36 years ago and defend my integrity. Kavanaugh's statement came shortly after Ford said through her attorney that she would be willing to speak with Congress to tell her side of the story. But now she's actually trying to hold the process captive by making demands as cursory to her testimony. So Kavanaugh was seen Monday arriving at the White House, which has stood by the judge in the face of the accusations. The 53-year-old judge was there to meet with the White House legal team to prepare for potential interviews or questions from the Judiciary Committee, a source familiar with the matter said. According to multiple sources, Kavanaugh has hired Beth Wilkinson of the law firm Wilkinson, Walsh, and Eskovitz to be his attorney. Wilkinson has not returned calls from any organizations seeking comment yet. Ford went public with her allegation in an article that was published by the Washington Post. Yeah, they're real credible. In the article, she alleged that at a party during their high school years, Kavanaugh pushed her into a bedroom along with his friend Mark Judge, attempted to remove her clothes, and put his hand over her mouth when she tried to scream. Now, Mark Judge has denied this allegation in an interview with the Weekly Standard. And while Ford initially sought to keep her allegation confidential, she said she opted to go public once the allegation emerged in the public eye and reporters began pursuing her. Her attorney, Deborah Katz, on Monday said that Ford would be willing to testify before Congress. She stood by her story in the face of expected pushback. Katz described Ford's recollection of the incident in stark terms, going as far as saying her client considered it an attempted rape. Again, wild accusations. She believes that but for his inebriation and his inability to take her clothes off, that he would have raped her. If he was inebriated so badly, how was he actually able to grab a hold of her, keep a hold of her, push her into a room, and begin to try to take her clothes off? Again, another inconsistency in the story. Ford's decision to go public prompted some key senators to voice support for a delay in the nomination process. This past Sunday, a pair of senators said after the judiciary Kavanaugh's nomination until they talk to his accuser. These outsiders are, again, big anti-Trumpers. Jeff I Am Flake and Bob Pop the Corker. They're weak. They've always been weak, and that's why, especially in this case, 9% in his home state in his re-election bid when he decided to retire.
Gee, we pretty much just lost you, man. You still there? You still having weird weather down your way? Because all I'm getting now is...
Hotter than 80, but am I still breaking up bad?
You're starting to come in a little bit clear, but yeah, it's still pretty bad.
Hang on a second here. Let me check something.
All right, so let's do this so folks don't keep having to hear this. We'll take the break a little bit early, and then hopefully we can get this nailed down on the 3-minute break. We'll be right back, folks.
Oh, but ain't that America? You and me, ain't that America? Something to see, baby. Ain't that America? Home of the free, yeah.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. you'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
Oh, but ain't that America for you and me? Ain't that America? Something to see, baby.
All right, welcome back. Let's try this again. I think we're a little better off now than we were. So anyway, I apologize for that. We had to reboot the canoodle valve during the break, but that does seem to have fixed the problem, at least temporarily. We'll keep our fingers crossed. This is the price you pay for living at the end of the road, folks. You can't go any further south than me or you end up in the Gulf of Mexico. So it's the price you pay. It's paradise. What can I tell you? Anyway, so, you know, we got Flake and Corker screaming that, oh, we need to delay this. We need to delay this. We need to delay this, because they're weak. They're weak and they're pathetic. And you heard me at the early on. I told you exactly what I would do if I were Grassley, but you know, he opted to go with the delay. So anyway, Corker's spokesperson Micah Johnson said in a statement that Corker does not sit on this panel, and while some Republican senators, such as Alaska's Lisa Murkowski and South Carolina's Lindsey Graham and Flake, are concerned with the process, one source says that doesn't necessarily mean a long delay, and the concern is that a long delay is what the Democrats are pushing for. So one supporter of Kavanaugh also pushed back on some reporting that the White House or Republicans would deploy any aggressive attack, calling it infuriating. White House senior counselor Kellyanne Conway told reporters Monday that Ford should not be ignored or insulted. She should be heard, adding that Ford should also testify under oath. So, you know, related to this, we've got Deborah Katz, the attorney for the woman, you know, for Ford, who is accusing Kavanaugh of basically, well, we can say it ranges anywhere from sexual misconduct to sexual assault to attempted rape now. The rhetoric just doesn't stop. But Katz, the attorney for Ford, has said that it's not her client's job to corroborate her claims. Now get that, okay? Think about this. She can make an accusation. She can testify about the accusation, but she should not have to corroborate them. But yet they want to have these uncorroborated accusations basically derail a man's career. What the hell? Come on. Let's be realistic here. So during this interview, Katz revealed that there was another girl present at the party, which allegedly took place in 1982. 1982. I could tell you about some of my parties in 82, but this is a family show. So anyway, Kavanaugh was attending Georgetown Prep. Ford previously told the WAPO that there were 4 boys at the party, but never indicated if there were other girls besides herself. Okay, here we go. This is from Allison Camerata. Take it for what it's worth. Camerata went on to say, while we have you, perhaps you can help us fill in the blanks on some of her story. She says that she was at a party in probably 1982 in Montgomery County, Maryland. She says that there were 4 guys there. These are high school students, as was she. There are 4 guys. Were there any other girls there that day? Yes, there was another girl at this party, Katz said. Now, Camerata asked if Ford has tried to talk to any of the partygoers to see if they will corroborate her story. But Katz is declining to place the burden of proof on her client. She says, this is a quote now, get this, that's not her job to do that. If this is going to be investigated, it should be done by investigators. So, now, Rick, help me out here because you've done some work in and with law enforcement. So, first of all, this would not be an FBI jurisdiction thing.
No.
No. Second of all, being that this was 36 years ago and there was no initial complaint ever even lodged at the time of the incident, I would think that even the most generous statute of limitations would have long expired on this in any state.
Well, actually, I haven't had a chance to look at this yet, but somebody told me that there is no statute of limitations for felony assault in Maryland, but I'm not sure this would meet the criteria of felony assault, though, either.
Okay. So, yeah, we're... Okay. Now, first of all, we're going to call this gathering a party. It sounds like it was 4 guys and 2 girls. That's the way they're making this sound. I was in high school in the 80s. I graduated a couple years later after Kavanaugh in 1985. I can promise you that when I had a gathering of people at my parents' house.
Giggity, 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 let's have sex.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on, buddy. You better know it. And the thing was, it wasn't a surprise for those that were invited. They knew why they were coming. They knew we were going to consume alcoholic beverages. They knew that we were going to giggity, giggity, giggity. I mean, that's just, the 80s were the 80s. It doesn't mean what we were doing was right, but it was what we did. That's how things were. Now, I'm not saying that anybody should be forced into doing it, but I'm saying that as a girl, if you're getting invited, my readers. If you're a teenage girl and you're invited to a teenage boy's party, especially back in the 80s, in the front half of the 80s, hell, even into the late half of the 80s, there was a reasonable expectation that there was going to be shenanigans of the physical kind. Now, again, not that anybody should ever be forced into doing that, but it was kind of known. It was kind of known. And, you know, maybe Miss Katz, does it have her full name in here? Yeah, Deborah Katz. Maybe Deborah, as an attorney, should you know, I don't know, reestablish her understanding of how the criminal justice system works. Okay? She wants an investigation into something that was never reported. There's no physical evidence. There is only anecdotal evidence. And you can't even call that evidence. There are anecdotal accounts of what happened. Okay? Was there a party? I don't know. Was Kavanaugh there? I don't know. Was she there? I don't know. You know, it's all he said, she said at this point. If you're going to make an accusation, if it's for something other than political stunt, be prepared to back it up. It's not that hard. So anyway, that's where we stand on Kavanaugh right now. So as of right now, there will be... Yeah, Third Rail Ramblers, baby. Gotta love them. Gotta love them. So anyway, that's where we stand on it. Extended hearing Monday. Look, I'm assuming right now, if she doesn't show on Monday, if I were Grassley, I'd have a vote right on the spot. Absolutely. Would absolutely force a vote right on the spot. So anyway, let's go from the Atlantic coast and jump across the big pond to Europe. Denmark, of all places, okay? You would think, from everything you hear in the news about how the immigration is just killing European countries, okay? So now you're going to like this. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. Danish politicians, both conservative and liberal, left and right, however you want to look at it, Danish politicians from both sides of the aisle have come together and are considering controversial new integration policies to bring immigrant communities into society by force if necessary. This coming just weeks after the country introduced a burqa ban. So government is coming up with proposals that are working on being finalized by Parliament over the next couple of weeks to target Denmark's so-called ghetto neighborhoods with a series of sanctions and incentives which have been given enthusiastic backing by both sides of the political spectrum in Parliament. under the proposal, children living in the targeted areas would be required by law to attend daycare for a minimum of 25 hours a week and to make sure that they learn to speak Danish and learn the country's values and customs. Immigrant families who take their children back to their countries of origin for long periods could face prison or deportation, and crimes committed in the neighborhoods would carry heavier sentences. Wow. These measures are expected to be fully approved with a large parliamentary majority and have the support of the largest opposition party, the left-wing Danish Social Democrats. Now, their spokesman on immigration and integration, Matthias Tesfaye, said, "We tried to negotiate this to be more draconian." He said, "We think government has been soft on this." The Social Democrats recently overhauled their political agenda and came up with a Together for Denmark manifesto, which adopts much of the language and anti-immigration right. The policy describes parallel societies where foreigners and their descendants live isolated from the Danish community and with the values that are not Danish. And he calls this unacceptable. I think we have a position available over here somewhere for this guy. In addition to throwing its support behind the plan, the party has supported the government in allowing the jewelry and valuables of asylum seekers to be seized by authorities in payment for their reception and in banning face veils. Wow. Holy crap. Okay, now I'm not big on personal property seizure here. Wow. Mr. Tesfaye, whose father was an Ethiopian refugee, said, "Why should the social democratic position be we should leave people alone and leave the right with the argument that we have to have a common cultural background? It should be a core issue for social democratic parties to break down these parallel societies and to make sure we all belong to each other." Okay, now that sounds socialistic. We have to be very explicit, he said. We have to say, for example, we need you to support a secular state where there's a religious freedom and where the common rules of society are supported by secular arguments. We need you to make sure your children learn Danish. We need you to live not just in one place where all the refugees are. He insisted the proposals are necessary to defend the welfare state and said people can only be asked to pay up to 53% in income tax for health, education, and safety net if they feel part of a common unit with their fellow citizens. 53%. 53%. Our forefathers went to war for 50% less than that. A ban on wearing the face veils in public came into force in Denmark last month. The country's parliament passed the controversial law in May when it joined France and other European Union countries in what some politicians say is upholding secular and democratic values. Rick, were you trying to chime in, buddy?
I was, but the connection's being a little iffy again, so I'm just going to go back to being quiet.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, if you got something to add it. You're always welcome.
I was just saying when you were talking about our forefathers went to war for 50% less, I was like, shh, you're inciting violence.
Well, that's their problem. If they're willing to pay 53% tax, let them have it. Anyway, something has bit my foot. That hurts. Anyway, yeah, that went out live on the air. I'm scratching the bite or whatever it is on my foot.
Could have been
so
worse.
Now,
at least you weren't scratching your butt.
No. I wouldn't do that on the air. Come on. I got class. It's all low, but I got class. Anyway, sticking on the immigration theme, the United States is going... Was that me or you?
That wasn't.
Okay, that was me. I'm starting to reverb again here.
I'll try to clean it up.
Okay, I don't know if maybe flake out again. But anyway, the number of refugees it will accept for a second straight year. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said Monday, insisting amid criticism from human rights groups that the country is still committed to providing sanctuary to people fleeing the world's danger zones. Up to 30,000 refugees will be allowed into the country next year, down from a cap of 45,000 this year. It will be the lowest ceiling on admissions since the program began in 1980. The announcement comes despite calls from global humanitarian groups that this year's cap of 45,000 was too low. For who? Pompeo sought to head off potential criticism of the reduction by noting that the U.S. would process more than 280,000 asylum claims in addition to more than 800,000 already inside the country who are awaiting a resolution of their claims. These expansive figures continue the United States' long-standing record as the most generous nation in the world when it comes to protection-based immigration and assistance, he said, and he's being more than kind. The 30,000 cap is the maximum number of refugees the U.S. will admit during the fiscal year that starts October 1st. The actual number allowed in could be lower. So far this year, the U.S. has only admitted 20,918 refugees for the fiscal year set to end in 2 weeks. That's per State Department records. President Barack Obama, when in office, raised the ceiling to 110,000 in 2017, but the pace slowed dramatically after President Trump took office and issued an executive order addressing refugees. In 2016, the last full year of the Obama administration, the United States admitted nearly 85,000 refugees. Pompeo said the lower ceiling reflected commitment to aiding families forced to flee their homes by war, persecution, or natural disasters, while prioritizing the safety and well-being of the American people. He cited the case of an Iraqi refugee who was arrested in California for killing a policeman in his homeland while fighting for the Islamic State organization. This year's proposed refugee ceiling must be considered in the context of many other forms of protection and assistance offered by the United States, he said, citing U.S. contributions to foreign aid and other forms of humanitarian assistance. Amnesty International has accused the Trump administration of abandoning refugees with the lower cap. This is the lowest goal in the history of the program, and compounded by this administration's history of creating roadblock after roadblock for refugees to arrive, this must be perceived as an all-out attack against our country's ability to resettle refugees both now and in the future, said Ryan Mace of Amnesty International. Perhaps Mr. Mace would like to outfit his house with a fistful of refugees. I'm sure that we can come up with a fine group of young men from some struggling Middle Eastern country to put into all the rooms at Mr. Mace's home. Worldwide, there were some 25.4 4 million refugees last year, according to the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, with many more people internally displaced within their home countries. Most aid groups and governments advocate resettlement as a last resort, preferring to allow refugees to return to their homes if conditions improve, rather than permanently moving to another country. I like that idea a whole lot better. Matter of fact, I like staging refugees in camps in their own country where they're used to the customs, where they're used to the climate, where they're used to everything that goes on. They just get a safe place to come stay until they can go back to their home. But they should remain in their home country. So during the sealing announcement, Pompeo advocated U.S. efforts to end the conflicts that drive displacement in the first place and to target the application of foreign aid in a smarter way. Trump has made limiting immigration a centerpiece of his policy agenda. The administration's zero-tolerance policy that forcibly separated families at the U.S. southern border sparked outrage among the weak. Last year, yeah, that was my comment there, and that's not out of anybody's notes but mine. Yeah, I'm calling anybody that had a problem with our southern border weak. You can at me on Twitter or you can call the show. It's up to you. But last year, Trump temporarily banned visitors from a handful of Muslim-majority nations and insists he'll build a wall along the U.S.-Mexico border. Trump has linked increased immigration to increased crime in the United States. But according to resettlement agencies in the U.S., the vetting process is one of the world's toughest. Well, break my heart. Break my heart. Okay, most applicants to the United States refugee program spend at least 3 years being interviewed, undergoing biometric checks and medical exams, and filling out paperwork. Cases are screened by the Department of Defense, the FBI, and the Department of Homeland Security and other agencies. But guess what? All that means nothing if there's not a cooperating agency on the other end. The Trump administration added requirements, including the longer background checks and more screenings for females and males between 14 and 50 from certain countries, including Iraq. Boom. There you have it. So, I'm not sure we have time to do another one. Maybe, do I have a short one here? Hang on. I might have a short one we can do. Man, that's too bad. Okay, let's do this real quick. A good product sells itself, right? So what does it say when more than $1.4 billion with a B dollars is spent every year promoting federal agencies and the services they provide, but trust and confidence in the government have plummeted? Federal contracts for advertising and public relations average $1.4 billion a year, according to the GAO. 60% of the PR contracts are paid for by the Department of Defense. Another $430 million a year is spent paying the salaries of approximately 4,900 federal public relations employees. So these are employees that get paid to make the government look good. They're government employees paid to make the government look good. The median annual salary for government public relations staff is $90,000. DOD also employs the largest number of public relations staff members. Department of Veterans Affairs had the largest percentage increase in public relations employees over the past decade. Understandably, I mean, we know why. The number of VA PR staff grew to more than 9% from 144 employees. That's a lot more than 9%. To 286 employees in 2014. Okay, that was a 2006 to 2014. They went from 144 to 286. They practically doubled. The total cost of PR activities government-wide is higher than $1.4 billion spent on contracts and employees. But it is difficult to calculate. This is due in part to public relations activities not being delineated from other activities and contracts with broader purposes. So basically, our government is spending about $1.5 billion of our tax dollars every year to tell us how good they are. Rein them in, folks. They only feel the heat if you light the fire. All right. That's tonight. Again, no show next week. We'll be back on October the 3rd, along with Foo, same day, back on October 3rd. And we will have new show music that night, by the way. So again, are you ready? I am. Folks, if you like the show, tell your friends. If your friends like the show, you need new ones, but they and you can catch me here in 2 weeks when we're back with more. I'm the Grouch. Peace and God bless.
We believe in the American way, and we built this country called the USA, and we fly our flag because we're proud and free, we're Americans. Red, white, and blue is our way of life. Never back down from a challenge or a fight.
I hate this place. Nothing works here. The medications don't work. I've been here for 7 years.
I swear to God, I'll pistol whip the next guy that says shenanigans.